Alright guys, apologize for the bad quality here with the cell phone video. I just got done changing out the belt and tightening and replacing the blade and tightening the bolt. The bolt still feels a little tight, so I'm not sure if I only torqued it to 20 pounds. I may have to change that, we'll see. Okay, so there's a few videos out here. This is for the Craftsman Lawn Edger 140cc. Bought it at Lowe's. Of course, Lowe's is pretty much useless when it comes to helping, finding parts, whatever. So my belt broke, so I had to replace it. Now, there's a lot of videos where guys are saying, you know, hey, the spring is, how do you can't get it over the front pulley here because the spring, I've seen a video that's really smart. I just didn't have one handy, was a ratchet strap. I believe he hooked it kind of back here behind the wheel. You have to take this guard cover off right here. I always write, the first time I change them out, I always write what size they are. So you can see I put a 3/8, that's bad handwriting. And there's 2 bolts. Once you take that off, you'll be able to find a spot, whatever you're comfortable with, hooking that front part of the ratchet strap. And you can either ratchet it down, but like I said, I did not have one handy, but what I did have handy was just a regular old wood clamp. As you can see, just a Irwin wood clamp. And what I did is, once I had this little cover off, there's little square pieces right here, because if you try to put it on the pulley, it just keeps turning, and that's kind of a problem. So I just kind of found a spot back here and right here, and I clamped it down. I did have 2 of them, so I kind of had a backup one as well, just in case. Never came loose. I was kind of worried about getting impaled a few times, but never happened. Good news. Okay, so the next thing you'll have to do is loosen this bolt. As you can see, I also wrote 14 millimeter, which I believe is equivalent to a 9/16. I believe so. It's the same size nut up here as it is below the pulley right here. So there's a backup you'll have to put on the bottom down here. Do not take the bolt or the nut all the way off. Okay, so loosen it enough, and this will it'll pivot one way or another, and that's what allows you to get this belt through. But don't take this top nut all the way off. Just loosen enough to where you can move it and leave it alone. Make sure when you're putting your belt on, rule number 1, the groove, you can always tell there's a flat side of a belt, and on the bottom you can kind of see here, there's a grooved side. It's just kind of looks almost a little trapezoid looking thing, okay? And behind this guard right here, you always want to put the groove down, okay, facing it into the pulley. Up top right here, you can see there's 2 sets of pulleys right here, 2 sets of grooves. You want to put the groove inside the pulley just like you did up here. On the bottom, you want to put it on the back side, and if you do it right, it kind of works itself out. Okay, on the back side, the last pulley here, you always put the groove. It's right here. It's kind of hard to see; it's a little dark. The pulley right there, you always put the groove inside the pulley. So there's only one spot that the belt is on the flat side, and that is on this bottom pulley right here. Okay. All right. Next thing. So, like I said. I could not find a manual online for this thing, nor could I find specs or anything like that for torque specs for this bolt. Obviously, I'm concerned if it's too tight, it'll just kind of clog down. That might have been what broke my belt the first time. If it's too loose, it'll just back off, and now you're back to square one. So it might be, if you can't find a manual, which I could not. I started at 20 pounds, and again, I have a torque wrench that I use, so I have it set to 20 pounds. If that's too little, I'll go up by 5 pound increments. This bolt right here is a 15/16 bolt and nut. You also on this side have a backup you'll have to have there as well, and that's also 15/16. All right, guys. Well, I hope this helps. Overall, this has been a nice edger. I've had it for a few years now. It's done, what I've had to do. I just, like I said, recently had to change out the blade the first time, and I use it quite a bit. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Engine's been fine. I do, use premium gas in all my small engines, and I change the oil frequently, clean out the air filter, stuff like that. Okie dokie. Well, I hope this helps, guys, and maybe a message or comment if you have any other questions.